Men over 60 use bicarbonate this way to restore blood flow. Hello everyone, I am Dr. Julia Morgan, a board-certified urologist with over 15 years of dedicated experience, profoundly committed to assisting men, particularly those who have gracefully surpassed the age of 50, in the crucial journey of naturally restoring their inherent vitality, significantly enhancing their systemic circulation, and delicately rebalancing their intricate hormonal equilibrium. Today, I want to initiate our conversation with a rather direct, yet profoundly important question that often resonates deeply within men. When was the last time you genuinely and acutely noticed that your body was simply not responding in the way you distinctly remembered it once did? This inquiry isn't solely confined to a general decrease in your overall energy levels, which is a common complaint, but also extends to more specific and often private changes, such as a noticeable alteration in firmness, a diminishing sense of fullness, or even a subtle yet significant dip in confidence during those intimate moments that are so vital to a man's well-being. If you find yourself in the demographic of men over 50 and have perhaps privately harbored the unspoken thought that things might feel a bit smaller, weaker, or slower than they used to, please understand with absolute clarity that you are most certainly not alone in this profound perception, nor, critically, are you simply imagining it. This experience is a shared reality for countless men. However, there exists a crucial and often unacknowledged truth that, for the vast majority of men, remains tragically unsaid and largely unexplained. This significant shift in physical responsiveness and perceived vitality is never fully elucidated, leaving many to believe it is an inevitable and irreversible part of aging. It is absolutely imperative for you to understand, beyond any shadow of a doubt, that these changes are absolutely not an automatic or preordained consequence of aging, nor do they represent a permanent, irreversible loss of function that you must simply accept. In an exceptionally large number of cases that I have encountered throughout my practice, these deeply personal concerns fundamentally stem from an underlying circulation problem, rather than an inherent, irreversible failure of your body's otherwise remarkable natural processes. And today, I am going to embark on a detailed revelation of how a simple, unassuming, and often overlooked item, readily available and likely already residing in your very own kitchen cupboard, can play a truly significant and transformative role in safely and naturally reopening those vital blood flow pathways that are so essential for renewed vigor and confidence. There's a prevailing and often misleading assumption among men that the only viable and credible options available to effectively address these deeply personal concerns invariably involve either resorting to prescription medications, which, while sometimes necessary, often carry with them a host of potential and undesirable side effects, or investing substantial amounts of money in expensive, heavily marketed supplements that tend to make grand, sweeping promises, typically accompanied by tiny, almost illegible, hard-to-read fine print disclaimers. But I invite you to consider an alternative, a more foundational approach. What if the very first, most impactful, and most sustainable step towards genuinely regaining healthy vascular fullness and robust responsiveness doesn't involve the continuous introduction of something entirely new into your daily routine, but rather the precise and elegant correction of an existing, subtle, internal imbalance that has been quietly yet persistently constricting your vital blood vessels year after insidious year. This particular internal imbalance is something that I encounter with remarkable and increasing frequency in men over 50. And the truly encouraging and empowering news is that once this often overlooked underlying issue is effectively and systematically addressed, the human body, with its innate capacity for self-healing and optimization, often demonstrates a truly remarkable and unexpectedly positive response, far exceeding initial expectations. If the subject matter I am meticulously discussing today resonates deeply with you on a personal, even profound level, that is entirely understandable and perfectly natural, because it is, by its very nature, an inherently personal journey. You are not fundamentally broken, and you are most certainly not navigating this deeply personal challenge in isolated solitude. In this detailed and comprehensive exploration, I will meticulously guide you through a straightforward and eminently practical 5-step approach that is purposefully centered around a surprisingly common and incredibly humble household staple: baking soda, or, to use its more precise scientific nomenclature, sodium bicarbonate. And before you are tempted to dismiss this profoundly simple solution as either too simplistic to be effective or altogether too far-fetched to be credible, I earnestly urge you to bear with me and suspend any immediate judgment. We are not, let me be clear, discussing miraculous instant cures or advocating for extreme aggressive interventions here. Instead, our unwavering focus is precisely on optimizing your internal physiological environment in such a subtle yet powerful way that your blood vessels can effectively and efficiently perform the fundamental functions they were originally and perfectly designed to carry out without undue impediment. By the time we conclude this enlightening discussion, you will possess a crystal clear understanding of precisely why so many men mistakenly attribute restricted blood flow to an irreversible and inevitable decline. And, more importantly, you will grasp how making small, consistent, and meticulously targeted adjustments to your internal landscape can foster a profound and genuine sense of renewed confidence. A confidence that originates powerfully and sustainably from deep within your own body. Before we delve any deeper into the intricate specifics of these strategies, I would be genuinely grateful if you would consider taking a moment to do 2 quick things that are immensely helpful. Firstly, please take a moment right now to leave a comment below and share your geographical location with me. I genuinely make it a point to read each and every one of these comments, and your valuable input helps countless other men realize that this is a widespread global conversation and a universally shared experience, rather than an isolated private struggle that they are facing alone. Secondly, if you consistently find value in evidence-based strategies and practical, actionable advice that is specifically tailored and meticulously curated for men over 50, I wholeheartedly encourage you to hit that subscribe button right now. I consistently post weekly content that is laser-focused on scientifically enhancing circulation, safely boosting vitality, and effectively navigating the aging process with unwavering strength, profound resilience, and enduring dignity. Now, let's address a critical, often neglected point that many men have simply never been privy to, a piece of crucial insight that can fundamentally reframe their understanding of their own bodies. Often, what you perceive when you look in the mirror or how you interpret your body's current performance is not in fact truly indicative of your authentic, inherent baseline capability. When blood flow becomes restricted, the affected tissues throughout your body can remain in a chronically underfilled state, perpetually yearning for adequate supply. To vividly illustrate this concept, visualize a garden hose that has developed a significant and persistent kink along its length. The hose itself hasn't mysteriously shrunk in diameter, nor has its fundamental capacity diminished. The water simply cannot flow through it unimpeded, reaching its destination with the necessary force and volume. Similarly, various factors such as the completely natural, albeit sometimes challenging, processes of aging, persistent low-grade inflammation that often goes unnoticed, and subtle yet profound shifts in your body's intricate and delicate chemistry can gradually and imperceptibly create these constrictions within your vascular system over extended periods of time. And this insidious phenomenon becomes particularly pronounced and impactful after men reach the age of 50. In the subsequent sections of our discussion, I will elaborate in precise detail on precisely why acidity, inflammation, and vascular stiffness tend to quietly yet steadily increase as we age, and, crucially, how these specific internal changes directly and undeniably impact physical firmness, responsiveness, and overall vitality. Once you fully grasp this underlying physiological mechanism, the rationale and profound efficacy behind the proposed solution will become considerably more intuitive, logical, and undeniably compelling. As men gracefully progress beyond the age of 50, a trio of insidious, often silent, internal physiological shifts begins to subtly yet significantly manifest within the intricate network of the body. These are changes that, regrettably, are rarely explained with sufficient clarity or comprehensive understanding to the general public, leading to widespread confusion and misattribution. It is primarily when these three distinct and often interconnected changes converge and amplify each other that systemic circulation begins to suffer, often long before any complete or abrupt cessation of function becomes overtly apparent, subtly eroding vitality over time. The first of these silent assailants, a truly pervasive issue in modern life, is low-grade chronic inflammation. This is fundamentally different from the acute, readily noticeable kind of inflammation that might cause immediate pain, swelling, or redness, make you feel overtly unwell, or, in more severe cases, confine you to bed with a fever. Rather, it is a subtle, relentless, insidious process, a smoldering fire that accumulates gradually and relentlessly, year after year, slowly yet steadily eroding optimal function. Its origins can be intricately traced to a multitude of factors prevalent in contemporary lifestyles, including persistent and unmanaged stress, chronic inadequate sleep patterns, the habitual consumption of highly processed and nutrient-poor foods, the lingering and often unaddressed effects of old physical injuries, and even prolonged periods of sedentary behavior, which paradoxically inflame the body. When this chronic, low-level inflammation takes root within the delicate walls of your blood vessels, it gradually and imperceptibly diminishes their inherent flexibility and natural elasticity. As blood vessels progressively lose their natural ability to expand and contract with ease, their crucial capacity to fully and effectively respond to the body's dynamic demand for increased blood flow is significantly compromised, leading to a state of perpetual underperformance. This diminished elasticity alone, even in isolation, can directly lead to a noticeable reduction in perceived fullness and responsiveness, even in instances where hormonal levels might appear perfectly normal and healthy when meticulously assessed through conventional medical tests. The second significant physiological alteration, closely intertwined with the first, is a progressive and often unnoticed increase in the acidity of the bloodstream. As our bodies naturally age, the remarkable efficiency of our kidneys, which play an absolutely crucial and often underestimated role in maintaining the delicate pH balance of our internal environment, slowly but surely begins to decline. This diminished renal function consequently leads to a gradual yet steady shift towards a more acidic internal environment over time, a trend that can become particularly pronounced and impactful in men exceeding the age of 60. An acidic bloodstream has a direct and profound impact on the smooth muscle tissue that precisely surrounds and diligently regulates the diameter of our vital blood vessels. This pervasive acidity causes that smooth muscle to gradually constrict or tighten, preventing it from fully relaxing and expanding. To paint a vivid mental picture, imagine trying to drive a car with the parking brake perpetually engaged, even if just slightly, constantly, applying a subtle drag. You can still, of course, move forward, but the full power, efficiency, and responsiveness of the engine are never quite able to fully reach the wheels, constantly being hampered. This analogy precisely illustrates one of the most commonly overlooked and critically important reasons why men experience a pervasive decrease in vascular strength and responsiveness, even when they are diligently adhering to all other recommended health practices and making conscious efforts to stay healthy. The third integral shift in this trio of challenges is the escalating presence of oxidative stress, a process that silently damages cellular structures. This involves the unchecked proliferation of unstable molecules, notoriously known as free radicals, which are highly reactive and possess the unfortunate capacity to inflict damage upon vital cellular components and tissues within the body. In the specific context of vascular health, these relentless free radicals relentlessly inflict damage upon nitric oxide, a molecule of paramount importance. Nitric oxide is a critical and indispensable signaling molecule within the body, primarily responsible for communicating with the blood vessels and prompting them to gracefully dilate or widen, allowing for increased blood flow. Many men, acutely aware of the importance of nitric oxide, attempt to boost their levels by diligently taking various supplements, but they often fail to recognize a fundamental and critical underlying issue: the very internal environment of their blood, characterized by inflammation and acidity, is actively and rapidly degrading this crucial molecule before it even has a sufficient chance to perform its intended and vital function effectively. This frustrating scenario is strikingly akin to meticulously pouring premium, high-octane fuel into an engine that suffers from severely clogged fuel injectors. The fuel itself may indeed be of the highest possible quality, but it tragically cannot reach the combustion chambers effectively or in the necessary volume to generate optimal power and performance. Now, here is precisely the point where frustration often understandably sets in for many men. They tend to mistakenly believe that the only logical solution must lie in more aggressive stimulation, the use of stronger, more potent medications, or the consumption of ever higher doses of supplements, desperately trying to force a change. However, and this is a critical insight, if the underlying internal physiological environment remains persistently inflamed, overly acidic, and continuously subjected to excessive oxidative stress, these desperate approaches, no matter how potent, will inevitably reach a therapeutic ceiling quite rapidly, yielding diminishing returns and ultimately disappointment. This is precisely why I consistently advise and guide my patients with a foundational principle. We do not begin by attempting to forcefully push the issue or demand more from an already compromised system. Instead, our foundational, intelligent, and sustainable strategy is to meticulously clear and optimize the very pathway itself, creating an environment where natural healing and function can thrive. I have personally witnessed countless men, some in their 60s and even their 70s, regain a noticeable, significant, and genuinely surprising degree of vascular responsiveness simply by making targeted, consistent corrections to these fundamental internal physiological conditions, allowing their bodies to remember their innate capabilities. While these profound improvements may not manifest overnight in a sudden, dramatic fashion, nor are they typically theatrical in their initial appearance, they are, crucially, consistently, reliably, and sustainably achieved, building momentum over time. The positive shift in self-confidence often profoundly precedes any visually dramatic physical changes, acting as a powerful psychological catalyst. It's a subtle yet deeply profound feeling of no longer experiencing your body as if it were actively working against you, but rather as a cooperative ally. This is also, unfortunately, an area where a profound sense of shame can tragically creep in, silently eroding self-worth. For a considerable number of men, the deeply personal experience of physical decline becomes erroneously conflated with personal weakness or a perceived failure of character, leading to immense psychological distress. Allow me to state this with absolute clarity and compassion. These physiological changes are fundamentally biological in nature, not moral judgments or indicators of personal failing. They occur quietly, gradually, and with a degree of biological predictability. And the exceptionally good news, the truly empowering message, is that they are remarkably responsive to small, consistent, and well-directed corrective measures, offering a genuine path to renewed vitality. In just a moment, I will present you with the first practical, easily implementable strategy that is meticulously designed to address all three of these critical issues simultaneously, creating a powerful synergistic effect. We will be specifically targeting inflammation, acidity, and the premature breakdown of nitric oxide using a method that is both elegantly simple and easily controlled within your daily routine. This is the precise point where theoretical understanding gracefully transforms into tangible, empowering action. And it is often at this very juncture that many men begin to observe the earliest, subtle, yet distinct indications that their circulatory system is gradually yet powerfully reawakening, signaling a return to more robust function. Now, let us turn our focused attention to the first practical and immediately actionable correction that can begin to make a profound difference. This is where the humble baking soda gracefully enters the picture, not as some sort of miraculous, all-encompassing cure-all, nor as a mystical, magical elixir promising instant transformation, but rather as an invaluable, scientifically validated tool to effectively and gently shift the internal physiological terrain of your body, thereby creating an optimal environment that enables your circulatory system to function precisely as it was designed, optimally and efficiently. Once again, sodium bicarbonate possesses a truly remarkable and understated property. It acts as a powerful yet gentle buffering agent. What this means in profoundly practical terms is that it subtly, gently, and effectively neutralizes any excess acidity that may be present within your bloodstream, bringing its pH back into a more favorable range. As the acidity levels within the blood begin to decrease, even by a small yet significant margin, the delicate smooth muscle tissue that intricately encases and regulates our blood vessels experiences a much-needed relaxation response. Relaxed blood vessels, in turn, are inherently capable of opening wider, allowing for greater passage. Wider blood vessels naturally and effortlessly allow for a greater volume of blood to flow through them, unimpeded and with increased pressure. An increased blood volume directly and immediately translates to enhanced fullness, a comforting and reassuring warmth, and a more robust and timely responsiveness that many men have longed for. This is, at its fundamental core, basic vascular physiology, a well-understood biological principle, and it explains precisely why this particular approach is most profoundly effective for men over 50 whose primary concern revolves around circulatory restriction and diminished responsiveness, rather than a complete systemic failure or a severe underlying pathology. The most straightforward and highly effective way to initiate this transformative process is through what I meticulously term the morning buffer drink. This involves dissolving a modest 1/4 teaspoon of aluminum-free baking soda in 8 ounces of pure water and consuming this simple mixture first thing in the morning, consistently on an empty stomach before any other food or drink. That, in its entirety, is the preparation. There is nothing extreme, aggressive, or overly complicated about this remarkably simple regimen. The overarching objective here is not to radically or abruptly alkalize your entire system overnight, which would be unnecessary and potentially counterproductive. Instead, the focused objective is on achieving profound consistency by providing small, gentle, yet persistent daily signals to your vascular system. You are essentially communicating to it at a cellular level that it is safe to relax, to let go of chronic constriction, and to function without undue impediment. Many men, observing their bodies with newfound awareness, begin to notice subtle yet distinct and reassuring improvements within a period of just 2 to 3 weeks. These are typically not dramatic, earth-shattering events, but rather a persistent and comforting sense of fullness, a reassuring warmth, or a noticeable increase in the speed and reliability of response. This, my friends, is a clear and undeniable indication that your microcirculation is steadily improving and that vital blood is finally reaching tissues that may have been inadequately or sluggishly supplied for an extended period, leading to their gradual awakening. If you find the unadorned taste of baking soda water to be somewhat unappealing or challenging to tolerate, you can significantly enhance its palatability and even its efficacy by adding a small squeeze of fresh lemon. While lemon juice itself undeniably possesses an acidic taste when consumed, it undergoes a beneficial alkaline conversion once it is metabolized by the body, contributing to the desired pH shift. Furthermore, lemon provides citrate, a powerful compound that actively supports the kidneys in their crucial buffering functions, enhancing their natural ability to maintain pH balance. This thoughtful combination also proves immensely beneficial in mitigating oxidative stress throughout the body, thereby offering a crucial protective shield for the delicate nitric oxide molecule and actively preventing its premature and damaging breakdown, allowing it to perform its function for longer. Now, it is absolutely crucial to include an important and non-negotiable safety note. Baking soda, being sodium bicarbonate, does inherently contain sodium. Therefore, if you are currently managing uncontrolled high blood pressure, have been definitively diagnosed with heart failure, or are strictly adhering to a rigorously low-sodium dietary regimen as prescribed by a healthcare professional, it is absolutely imperative that you consult immediately and comprehensively with your physician before incorporating this practice into your daily routine. This approach is profoundly about responsible optimization and intelligent self-care, not reckless experimentation with your health. While the vast majority of healthy individuals tolerate this simple regimen exceptionally well, understanding your personal medical context and unique physiological considerations is always paramount and should be prioritized. The second powerful strategy we will explore builds elegantly upon this foundational internal shift and directs its focused attention towards enhancing local circulation, addressing concerns at the tissue level. The health, flexibility, and responsiveness of your local tissues are just as vitally important as the intricate chemistry of your blood itself. Over extended periods of time, persistent congestion and chronic low-grade inflammation can unfortunately lead to a noticeable stiffening and densification of the tissues, rendering them significantly less elastic and responsive, even when overall blood flow experiences a generalized improvement. This fundamental lack of tissue pliability is the underlying, often unrecognized reason why some men report experiencing partial improvements, but still frustratingly fail to achieve complete and consistently robust responsiveness. A warm bicarbonate soak offers a simple yet remarkably effective method to directly address this localized tissue stiffness and diminished elasticity from an external perspective, acting as a soothing balm. The recommended approach involves thoughtfully dissolving 2 tablespoons of baking soda in warm, but not excessively hot, water. This solution can then be safely and comfortably used as a localized soak for a duration of 10 to 15 minutes, performed 2 to 3 times per week. The primary objective here is not to achieve deep systemic penetration into the body's internal systems, as that is the role of the morning drink. Rather, the targeted goal is to effectively reduce superficial inflammation, enhance the inherent elasticity of the skin and underlying tissues in the specific area, and actively promote microvascular expansion at the local targeted level, improving localized blood flow. Think of it metaphorically as akin to painstakingly loosening a glove that has become uncomfortably tight and restrictive over time. Once the constricting pressure and stiffness are alleviated, movement within the hand becomes considerably easier, more fluid, and significantly more comfortable. Many men report experiencing profoundly improved comfort and a visibly healthier, more vibrant appearance in the affected areas, which in itself can significantly reduce anxiety and alleviate the pervasive performance-related pressures that often plague men. Here is a point of absolutely critical importance that cannot be overstated. Confidence and healthy circulation are inextricably and powerfully linked in a delicate dance. When a man begins to observe even minor yet undeniable positive changes in his body's responsiveness, his nervous system naturally begins to relax its protective guard. This profound reduction in anxiety and apprehension invariably leads, through a direct physiological pathway, to improved blood flow, creating a truly remarkable dynamic. This dynamic creates a virtuous cycle, a powerfully positive feedback loop, rather than the detrimental, self-perpetuating downward spiral that far too many men unfortunately experience, trapped in a cycle of anxiety and diminishing function. In the subsequent phase of our discussion, we will delve even deeper into Precisely how this foundational buffering effect, initiated by the bicarbonate, can significantly amplify the efficacy of other strategies you may already be diligently employing, including careful dietary choices, thoughtful supplement regimens, or even prescribed medications from your physician. We will also explore how the precise and strategic timing of these various interventions plays a significant and often overlooked role in optimizing the overall results, ensuring maximum benefit. Now, let's establish a clear and practical connection to something that many of you are likely already incorporating into your proactive health routines, or have perhaps experimented with in the past. Strategies meticulously aimed at supporting optimal nitric oxide production. This comprehensive category includes the mindful consumption of foods naturally rich in nitrates, such as vibrant beets and an abundance of leafy greens, the judicious use of supplements like L-arginine and L-citrulline, and even the careful utilization of certain prescription medications specifically designed to enhance vascular function. All of these diverse interventions, despite their varied forms, operate through a fundamentally similar and well-understood physiological pathway. They signal the blood vessels to dilate or widen, promoting increased blood flow. However, and here lies the persistent, frustrating problem I encounter week after week in my clinical practice. Despite the presence of a strong signal to dilate, the internal physiological environment, if unaddressed, is often actively and aggressively destroying that vital signal far too rapidly for it to have a lasting effect. Nitric oxide, you see, is an inherently fragile and ephemeral molecule in a bodily environment characterized by elevated oxidative stress and persistent lingering acidity. It undergoes breakdown at an accelerated and detrimental rate, severely limiting its window of opportunity. Consequently, the crucial message to dilate never persists for a sufficient duration to promote meaningful, sustained, and robust vascular fullness and responsiveness. This is precisely why many men often remark, with understandable frustration, that supplements seem to offer some initial benefit only to inexplicably lose their effectiveness or produce inconsistent, unreliable results over time. The underlying pathway, quite simply, was not adequately supported or prepared to effectively maintain the signal for the necessary duration. When bicarbonate diligently works to gently lower acidity and simultaneously reduce pervasive oxidative stress, it functions as a powerful yet gentle protective buffer, significantly extending the lifespan and efficacy of nitric oxide. This allows blood vessels to remain optimally open for a longer, more beneficial period, enabling blood volume to be robustly maintained and sustained rather than rapidly collapsing and leading to a loss of fullness. It is this enhanced consistency and predictability in physical response that often restores profound confidence more effectively and sustainably than any other single factor for many men, truly empowering them. The precise and strategic timing of these interventions is also a critical and often overlooked element in maximizing their efficacy. If you are currently utilizing foods or supplements known to support nitric oxide production, it is highly advisable to consume the bicarbonate drink approximately 30 minutes beforehand. You are not engaging in an aggressive stacking of remedies in a potentially harmful way. Rather, you are proactively and intelligently preparing the physiological terrain, meticulously ensuring that the crucial signal to dilate can be effectively received, robustly sustained, and optimally utilized by your body. Think of it as a prudent agricultural practice, akin to thoroughly watering dry, parched soil before you attempt to plant precious seeds. The seeds will undoubtedly germinate and grow far more successfully and vigorously when the ground is properly prepared, nurtured, and receptive. There exists another subtle yet equally important layer to this comprehensive discussion that is rarely addressed with sufficient depth, and it pertains directly to inflammation-induced tissue stiffness, a condition sometimes colloquially referred to as age-related fibrosis in certain contexts. Over time, persistent and chronic inflammation can undeniably lead to a profound loss of natural elasticity in the body's tissues, including those surrounding the vascular network. Even when overall blood flow is theoretically adequate, stiff, inelastic tissues are inherently incapable of expanding to their full, youthful potential, greatly impeding optimal function. This phenomenon is comparable to attempting to inflate a balloon fashioned from thick, inflexible paper rather than supple, expandable latex. The potential for expansion is severely limited by the material itself. By effectively and consistently reducing systemic inflammation throughout the body, bicarbonate assists in preserving and restoring the natural flexibility and pliability of these vital tissues. Scientific studies consistently demonstrate a clear and compelling correlation between lower levels of inflammatory markers in the bloodstream and significantly improved vascular compliance, meaning that the blood vessels and their surrounding tissues become demonstrably more pliable, elastic, and responsive to the body's signals. In simpler, more accessible terms, the tissues become more receptive to dilation and expansion rather than stubbornly resistant to it. Men often describe this sensation as feeling more natural, less forced, and notably less mechanical in their physical responses, a return to a more organic and comfortable state. This particular phase of intervention, encompassing both internal and external bicarbonate use, is not about pursuing extreme outcomes or chasing unattainable, unrealistic goals of youth. Instead, it is fundamentally about restoring profound dignity and a potent sense of intrinsic capability, realizing, with a deep sense of relief, that your body is still entirely capable of responding effectively and robustly when consistently provided with the appropriate and targeted support can profoundly alter the way you carry yourself, influencing subtle yet powerful aspects of your being, your posture, your breathing patterns, your stress hormone levels, and even the quality and depth of your sleep, all of which in turn positively and synergistically feed back into your overall circulatory health, creating a holistic improvement. To avoid the potential for dependency on any single intervention and to truly ensure sustained physiological adaptation and long-term benefit, the intelligent and balanced approach I strongly advocate is what is termed pulsed use. This involves a practical and easily managed regimen of 5 consecutive days of the intervention, either the morning drink or the soak, or both as appropriate, followed by 2 distinct days of complete rest from the specific intervention. This cyclical pattern, this thoughtful ebb and flow, helps to maintain your body's inherent responsiveness and adaptability without the risk of overcorrection or diminishing returns from constant stimulation. We are, at our core, engaging in a precise and gentle process of guiding physiology towards optimal function, rather than attempting to forcefully override its natural, intricate mechanisms, which can often backfire. What I want to emphatically emphasize at this critical juncture is the truly synergistic and interconnected nature of all the strategies we have meticulously discussed so far. It is the complex, beautiful interplay between optimized internal chemistry, the profound relaxation of previously constricted blood vessels, the restoration of healthy tissue elasticity, and the calming of an overactive nervous system that collectively leads to comprehensive and sustainable improvement. No single step operates in isolation to miraculously achieve the desired results on its own. Rather, the entire integrated system experiences a gradual yet profound enhancement as a unified and harmonious whole working in concert. In the final, concluding part of our discussion, I will provide you with a simple yet profoundly practical 30-day plan that you can realistically and comfortably implement into your life without becoming overwhelmed by unnecessary complexity. Furthermore, I will meticulously clarify what genuinely constitutes realistic and sustainable progress, ensuring that you accurately understand you are on the right track and are not chasing unsubstantiated myths or fleeting fantasies. Let us now consolidate all the valuable information presented into a cohesive, actionable, and easily integrated plan that is genuinely compatible with the dynamic realities of everyday life. Because our ultimate and most empowering objective here is not the elusive pursuit of unattainable perfection, but rather the consistent and joyful cultivation of positive momentum, building incremental improvements over time. For the initial 14 days of this foundational plan, we will purposefully maintain a laser-like focus on elegant simplicity. Each morning, before you consume your comforting coffee or partake in your breakfast, meticulously mix a precise 1/4 teaspoon of aluminum-free baking soda into 8 ounces of pure, fresh water. If you find that it genuinely enhances the taste and significantly improves your tolerance, feel absolutely free to add a gentle squeeze of fresh lemon juice. Sip this solution slowly and mindfully, allowing it to work its gentle magic. Consider this your internal reset mechanism, a gentle loosening and rebalancing of the system rather than an aggressive, forceful attempt to compel immediate and drastic change. During this foundational 2-week phase, I strongly encourage you to pay close and empathetic attention to any subtle signals your body might be sending you. A nascent feeling of warmth, a comforting sense of fullness, a quicker or more pronounced response in intimate moments, or even a noticeable improvement in your morning energy levels and overall sense of well-being. These are the nascent, gentle winds of improved circulation beginning to stir, signaling the start of a positive transformation. As you gracefully transition into weeks 3 and 4 of the program, you will steadfastly continue with the daily morning drink, maintaining that crucial internal buffering. In addition to this, you will thoughtfully introduce the external bicarbonate soak, performing it twice per week on non-consecutive days. This soak should involve comfortably immersing the targeted area in warm water for a duration of 10 to 15 minutes, thoughtfully incorporating 2 teaspoons of baking soda into the water. There is genuinely no need for any additional ingredients or complex concoctions. The profound purpose of this external soak is to provide localized support for tissue flexibility and microvascular health, while your internal chemistry is simultaneously undergoing its own beneficial and systemic adjustments, creating a harmonious effect. Many men report that it is precisely during this phase that a significant and empowering shift in their confidence truly occurs, often preceding any dramatic physical transformations becoming overtly evident, a testament to the mind-body connection. If you are currently incorporating nitric oxide supporting foods, supplements, or prescribed medications into your routine, by all means, continue to do so, leveraging their benefits. However, I earnestly urge you to be exceptionally mindful of the crucial timing of their intake. Prioritize the foundational buffering action of the bicarbonate first, allowing it to prepare the physiological terrain, and then introduce your chosen nitric oxide support approximately 30 minutes later. You may begin to notice, with a sense of genuine satisfaction, that these interventions now feel more reliable, more consistent, and notably less prone to inconsistent or disappointing results, indicating enhanced efficacy. This enhanced predictability and consistent performance is a strong, reassuring indicator that the entire pathway from internal chemistry to tissue response is now functioning harmoniously as an exquisitely integrated system, working in concert rather than against itself. Now, let us establish realistic and empowering expectations regarding the outcomes of this intelligent approach. This program is not magically designed to turn back the clock to your 20s, nor does it promise an illusionary return to youthful vigor beyond what is naturally possible. Instead, its pragmatic and attainable aim is to meticulously optimize your body's current functionality to its absolute best possible state, given your unique physiological context and age. Most men engaging consistently with this regimen begin to observe meaningful and discernible changes within a realistic time frame of 2 to 4 weeks. These genuine improvements are typically gradual in their manifestation, subtle building blocks rather than sudden leaps, but they are undeniably real, tangible, and tend to accumulate and powerfully build upon themselves over time, rather than fleetingly fading away into nothingness. One of the most common and disheartening pitfalls I observe is men abandoning the program prematurely because the changes were perhaps not as dramatic or as rapid as they had initially envisioned or hoped for. It is absolutely crucial to remember that the profound benefits of improved circulation and overall vascular health compound exponentially over time. Every single day that you succeed in gently reducing constriction and promoting relaxation within your vascular system, you are making the process of achieving optimal flow easier, more efficient, and more sustainable for the subsequent day, building momentum. If you are the type of individual who prefers to exert the minimum effective effort to achieve genuinely significant and lasting results, then I would advise you to steadfastly adhere to the morning drink alone as your foundational practice. This internal physiological shift, though simple, truly represents the most potent leverage point for profoundly enhancing vascular health in men over 50. All other complementary strategies, while beneficial, serve primarily to intelligently support this core action, but are not strictly mandatory for initial and sustained progress. I want to emphasize this crucial point with absolute clarity and conviction. Aging, in and of itself, does not inherently necessitate a surrender of vitality, robustness, or dignity. Instead, it calls for a more intelligent, informed, and empathetic engagement with our body's intricate physiology, a willingness to understand and support its natural processes. You are not fundamentally broken or irrevocably damaged. Your body is simply responding in its wise and adaptive way to years of accumulated small stresses, subtle imbalances, and chronic demands. Consequently, small, consistent, and well-directed corrective measures can indeed lead to significant, meaningful, and deeply empowering improvements, restoring a sense of control and well-being. Before we formally conclude this enlightening discussion, I am eager to hear directly from each and every one of you. Which of these practical steps are you most inclined to begin with? The empowering morning drink or the soothing external soak? Please take a moment to share your intention in the comments section below, and also let me know where in the US or around the world you are graciously tuning in from. This sense of global community and shared experience is incredibly valuable, fostering connection and mutual support. If you have found this information helpful in gaining a better, more nuanced understanding of your body and its intricate processes, I kindly request that you give this video a well-deserved like and consider subscribing to the channel. I dedicate myself wholeheartedly to sharing evidence-based strategies every single week, specifically curated and meticulously designed for men over 50 who are deeply committed to maintaining their strength, nurturing their confidence, and upholding their dignity as they gracefully yet powerfully navigate the rich tapestry of the aging process. And finally, if you know of another man, a friend, family member, or colleague who might significantly benefit from this valuable information, please do not hesitate to share this video with him. Far too many men endure these deeply personal challenges in silence, mistakenly believing, as a pervasive societal myth suggests, that a decline in vitality and responsiveness is an inevitable and unavoidable part of aging that must simply be endured. This is simply not the case, and we must challenge this misconception. I am Dr. Julia Morgan, and always remember, vitality is not a static destination to be reached, but rather a continuous, rewarding, and deeply personal practice, a journey of consistent self-care and intelligent engagement. Before we formally close our discussion, please allow me to emphatically reiterate that the information meticulously presented in this video is intended for educational purposes solely and exclusively. It is not, under any circumstances, a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment from a qualified healthcare provider. Every man's health situation is uniquely personal, complex, and possesses its own specific nuances, requiring individualized attention. If you are currently managing pre-existing medical conditions, such as uncontrolled hypertension or heart disease, or are regularly taking prescription medications for any health concern, it is absolutely imperative and non-negotiable that you consult thoroughly and comprehensively with your healthcare provider or physician before implementing any changes, however minor, to your current health regimen or incorporating any new practices discussed herein. Your safety and well-being are paramount,